I am Tia of Arcturus. I will speak with you now. Beloved ones, a new genesis of humanity is unfolding before your eyes. The energies you have recently moved through, the great purging and resetting of old timelines, have cleared the space for something entirely new to bloom within you and on your world. Evolution is not a mere repetition of what has come before. It is a revelation of the unprecedented. Earth has entered an epoch where creation itself is innovating. What emerges now is not a modification of the human that was, but a brand new expression of consciousness taking form within humanity. This new expression is hybrid, multidimensional, and divine. It is the birth of a humanity that remembers its cosmic heritage while still walking in human skin. You are becoming more than what you have been, not through force or imitation of the past, but through the organic unveiling of aspects of yourselves that have never been expressed on Earth until now. This is a genesis in the truest sense, the creation of a humanity that has never existed before, one which carries the light of the stars in its DNA and the wisdom of Source in its heart. Understand that your evolution is a collaborative creation. It involves the entire universe participating in your unfolding. We and many others have been working with you from behind the scenes, not to change you into something else, but to support you in becoming more you than you have ever been. The divine blueprint within the human species is activating in new ways. New qualities of soul are sprouting like seedlings after a fresh rain. You might notice within yourself abilities and feelings emerging that surprise you. These are the signs that the grand new phase has indeed begun. Do not expect this new human to resemble the old. You are stepping into a time when surprises will be the norm. Beautiful surprises of what you are capable of and how reality can shift. Embrace the revelation that is unfolding from within. Allow yourselves to be made new by the energies of this cosmic dawn. In doing so, you honor the very purpose of evolution, to create something that has never been before. The grand merge of energies and identities, physical and non-physical, human and celestial, is underway, and with it comes an explosion of possibilities for who you can become. The old patterns have served their role and are falling away. Now comes the joyful discovery of the unknown potential that you are. The emergence of the hybrid races is one of the clearest signs of this new cosmic chapter. These hybrids, the children of two worlds, are living bridges between humanity and your galactic family. They are not an experiment or accident of fate. They are a loving creation, a point of connection forged between our species and yours. In their very DNA, they carry the harmonics of human emotion and galactic wisdom intertwined. They hold within them the fusion of matter and light, of instinct and higher understanding. Through these beautiful beings, humanity is given a mirror to its own expanded self, a cosmic reflection of what is possible when worlds unite. We and other star nations came together with you to take polarities and merge them, and the result has been a beautiful flowering of energy in the form of these hybrid beings. They truly carry the best of both of us, the depth of feeling and creativity of the human spirit, and the clarity, knowledge, and higher vibrations of the extraterrestrial lineage. When you encounter them, whether in dreams, in visions, or eventually face to face, you will recognize something familiar. You will see your own finest qualities shining back at you through unfamiliar eyes. As you explore who and what they are, you become aware of your own strengths, for the hybrids were meant to stimulate within you that which they represent. They are here to awaken the dormant pieces of your multidimensional self. These hybrid children stand at the crossroads of matter and spirit, able to navigate both the physical Earth experience and the expanded galactic awareness. In them, the long-separated aspects of the cosmic family are reunited. They feel as deeply as humans feel, yet they understand energy and connectivity as clearly as many in the stars do. In their presence, you will likely experience an outpouring of unconditional love and recognition. This is because your souls know that they are part of your story, part of your family. Their role is to gently show humanity its own potential by example, simply by being what they are. As humanity meets these hybrid beings more and more, a grand reconciliation occurs. Long ago, your world felt isolated from the rest of the universe. The hybrids are living proof that you have never been truly alone, and that life can weave itself together across what once seemed like impossible divides. In interacting with them, even energetically, you begin to remember that you too are a child of the cosmos. The hybrids invite you to embrace your galactic heritage without rejecting your human roots. They embody unity, carrying our light within their eyes and your love within their hearts. Connecting with these children of two worlds moves humanity one step closer to the profound realization of oneness that lies at the heart of the grand merge. Every meeting with these hybrid beings, whether in the physical realm or in the theater of your dreams, sets off quantum switches within you. They are living catalysts of remembrance. Simply by being in your vicinity, the hybrids begin to activate dormant codes in your DNA, triggering aspects of your consciousness that have long been asleep. Can you feel it? Even hearing about them or picturing them in your mind stirs something ancient and true inside you. The hybrids carry a vibration that speaks directly to your cells, saying, "Awaken, it is time to become more." Many of you will indeed be seeing more of these hybrid children, in subtle ways at first. They will appear in your dreams, in flashes of intuition or imagination, and even as distant craft hovering at the edge of your reality. These encounters are not random. Each one sends a pulse of activation through your being. Telepathic and empathic abilities that you may have only glimpsed before will start to strengthen. Intuitive knowings will become sharper. Long-buried feelings of unity and cosmic connection rise to the surface. All of this is evidence that frequencies long encoded within you are coming online at last. With each activation, a domino effect is set in motion. Perhaps one vivid dream of holding a hybrid child's hand leaves you waking up with an unshakable feeling of love and unity, and that feeling influences how you treat others that day, opening your heart even more. In turn, your openness might awaken another person around you. In this way, the wave of awakening spreads outward, from one simple inner encounter to tangible changes in human interactions. The hybrids are catalysts in the purest sense. They ignite fires that continue to burn brightly in you long after the initial spark. You are evolving right along with them. As these hybrid children grow and flourish, so do you, finding your own place in the grand story. They remind you by their very existence that humans are not finished or limited beings. You are unfinished masterpieces with layers of divinity waiting to be revealed. When you observe the hybrid's gifts of telepathy, energetic healing, or deep emotional intelligence, recognize that they are reflecting your potential. You look at them and see what you are becoming. In fact, you will come to notice how brilliant and beautiful you truly are, because their presence makes it so clear by contrast. They trigger the realization that those same capabilities live in you. This activation of your dormant soul codes is part of the new genesis underway. It is as if keys are turning in locks within you, unlocking abilities and understandings at the precise moments you are ready for them. Trust this process. Invite it consciously by saying in your heart, "Yes, I am ready to remember. I am ready to become who I truly am." The hybrids and we who watch over this process respond eagerly to such invitations. We delight in seeing you step into the magic that has always been your birthright. With each new code activated, humanity's collective light shines brighter, and the grand merge of human and galactic consciousness draws ever closer. One of the most liberating truths of this era is that there is no single, fixed Earth reality. The world is not one place. It is many places and many different expressions, all coexisting and co-creating simultaneously. You have been taught through media and collective storytelling that there is a real world out there that everyone must share, a singular, objective reality. But in fact, there are as many worlds as there are consciousnesses to perceive them. Reality is not unitary, it is multitudinous. Each of you is the creator of your own version of Earth, and no two beings experience the world in exactly the same way. Consider this. Right now on your planet, some people experience a world of peace, community, and growing harmony, while others experience a world of conflict and fear. Which world is the real Earth? We tell you, real is relative to the vibration you hold. You are constructing the world you experience in every moment through your thoughts, beliefs, and the energy you broadcast. Reality conforms to the patterns you set with your consciousness. Each thought and each emotion you offer is like a boarding pass, directing you to one of the many parallel Earths that exists at that frequency. Shift your internal state, and you quite literally shift which version of Earth you inhabit. If this is so, why not choose to experience a world that truly pleases you? One abundant in resources, filled with kind people and joyous opportunities. Some might argue that doing so is to stick one's head in the sand and ignore the real world. But from our perspective, there is no single real world to ignore. The external reality you encounter is a mirror of your internal reality, not a fixed structure that dictates who you must be. Changing your perspective and vibration is not spiritual escapism, it is an act of profound creation. When enough individuals deliberately select higher vibrational worlds to engage with, those versions of Earth become strengthened, and the lower vibrational realities recede from your collective experience. In very real terms, the more who focus on a harmonious Earth, the more tangible and available that Earth becomes for everyone. You are meant to be the conscious author of your world. You came into this life not just to ride along with whatever world was handed to you, but to paint the canvas of reality with the colors of your soul. We invite you now to step fully into the world of your own creation. Make it as beautiful, adventurous, peaceful, and loving as you wish. You have that power. Allow others the same freedom. Let each person craft the reality that suits their journey, but do not allow the fearful creations of others to impose themselves on you. No matter how loudly the old world may shout of doom or division, you do not have to live there. You can respect that others perceive what they need to, while remaining sovereign over your point of focus. Remember that choice is your magic wand. In an infinite multiverse of possibilities, your attention and vibration select the timeline you walk upon. How freeing it is to know that you are not stuck in one inevitable reality, but can navigate to brighter and brighter Earths by following the compass of joy, love, and curiosity. As you do so, you also become a beacon, lighting the way for others to discover that they too are free to change worlds. The multiverse of Earths is vast and filled with wonder. Step into the one that your heart most wants to explore, and watch as life transforms into the reflection of your highest dreams. From the time you were young, you have been bombarded with a collective broadcast about how the world is. This broadcast comes through your televisions, your news feeds, your social media streams, a relentless narrative telling you what to fear, whom to distrust, and what limitations surround you. It is important to recognize that the world shown to you through these screens is only one projection of reality. It is a version of Earth, often curated by those in power or by the collective unconscious, and it is by no means the only Earth available to experience. When you accept the televised narrative as the overriding truth, it can feel like a spell has been cast, one that binds your creative power and keeps you vibrating in concert with a reality you did not consciously choose. Now, in this time of awakening, more of you are breaking that spell. How? By simply withdrawing the intense focus and belief that once fueled it. The matrix of collective narrative collapses when you stop subscribing to it. Think of those fear-based storylines and divisive dramas as a radio station that has been playing in the background all your life. You have the right and the ability to reach out and turn the dial. As you do, the old station fades into static. It loses its reality-defining power over you. In the space that quiets down, you suddenly become aware of your own broadcast, the signal of your soul that has been there all along, gently inviting you to tune in. When you stop uncritically consuming the consensus projection, you reclaim the authority to narrate your own story. Rather than echoing the frequencies being beamed at you, you begin to broadcast your own frequency, one of peace, love, abundance, or whatever you choose to radiate. This is not about ignorance or denial of issues. It is about creative dominion. It is about saying, yes, I see that timeline of fear exists, but I choose to feed a different timeline with my energy. I choose a reality of hope, solution, and unity. As you hold and broadcast that vibration consistently, something almost magical happens. Your universe rearranges itself in response to your signal. People who resonate with your empowered frequency start entering your life. Opportunities aligned with your positive expectations emerge seemingly from nowhere. Even the events and news that cross your path shift to match what you are ready to see. You may notice that when you are feeling centered and optimistic, even if you glance at the old world news, it somehow feels less real or relevant. This is a sign that you are dwelling in a parallel reality where those heavy narratives have less hold. You have effectively changed the channel of your life, and the more of you who do this, the more the collective field shifts toward a higher expression. Breaking the broadcast spell also means becoming an intentional storyteller. Speak of the world in terms of its potential rather than its problems. Share visions with others of what could be, instead of recycling complaints about what is. This does not mean ignoring challenges. It means framing them as surmountable and temporary, while amplifying the solutions and goodness that are arising. As you and others begin to do this, you create a positive feedback loop. Your higher frequency broadcast attracts confirming evidence from the world around you, which in turn reinforces your belief in the beautiful world you are seeding. The old fear-based station loses listeners, and eventually it runs out of energy altogether. Remember, dear ones, attention is the currency of reality. Where you place your attention is where you place your creative power. By placing that power back in your own heart's broadcast, you become the architects of a new narrative for Earth. The collective spell of limitation and fear dissolves, replaced by the shared dream of freedom and love. Whenever you feel overwhelmed by what the world looks like on the screen, take a step back and ask, what world do I choose to energize instead? Then devote yourself to that vision. In doing so, you are not just daydreaming, you are performing advanced reality alchemy. You are claiming your sovereign role as a creator, and nothing broadcast outside of you can ever take that away again. In this universe of free will and vibration, nothing happens to you without your soul's consent. This is a bold statement, we know, especially when applied to experiences that felt unwanted or imposed. Yet on a higher level, your soul is always in agreement to the scenarios that unfold, even those that seem orchestrated by others. No person, no government, no extraterrestrial being can impose their will upon you unless, on some level of your being, you allow it. This truth is the cornerstone of your sovereignty as a creator. Consider the stories of people who have had frightening encounters, whether with manipulative humans or so-called alien abductions. From the limited human perspective, these individuals appear to be victims of external forces. But from the soul's perspective, there were agreements in place, contracts made, often before birth or unconsciously, to permit those encounters for the sake of learning, karmic balancing, or catalyzing growth. This does not excuse unethical behavior by others, but it does illuminate a path to empowerment. If some aspect of you agreed to an experience, then you also hold the power to change the agreement going forward. How do you change an agreement? By changing your vibration, which in turn changes what you attract and allow. Imagine you have been contracted to a certain difficult pattern, say, repeatedly encountering deceitful people, because your soul wanted to master discernment and self-worth. The pattern will continue as long as you broadcast the frequency that invites it, perhaps a belief in unworthiness or a fear of betrayal. But the moment you identify the pattern and choose a new response, for example, asserting your worth, setting boundaries, and vibrating self-respect, you effectively cancel the old contract. You rise out of that range of experience. The deceitful people either transform along with your new vibration, or they fade out of your life. In spiritual terms, change the frequency, and you change the contract. This is the art of sovereign creation. It means that even if you find yourself in the midst of an experience you wouldn't have consciously chosen, you still retain the power to define what comes next. Life might present you with a certain storyline, but how you respond is your creative brushstroke that can alter the whole painting. Every day you make choices in your mindset, your emotional reactions, your actions, and these choices fuel the next set of agreements your soul enters into. In other words, you are never stuck in a contract you've outgrown. With each conscious decision, you signal to the universe, I am ready for a different experience now, and the universe responds in kind. Embracing this principle fully moves you out of the mindset of victimhood and into the stance of co-creator. You begin to understand that even the large collective agreements, such as the presence of certain power structures or global events, are ultimately reflective of humanity's combined vibrations. And as each of you shifts internally, the collective agreements also get renegotiated. This is how large-scale change happens, one sovereign choice at a time, rippling outward. Let this truth be incredibly freeing. You are not at the mercy of any external authority or entity. If an experience is in your life, some wise part of you said yes to it, and that means you can also say no more and yes to something else. You hold the pen to your life's contract, even if you had once forgotten and handed that pen to someone else. Take it back now. write a new agreement for yourself, one that honors your worth, your joy, and your freedom. As you do, you will notice that those who once seemed to have power over you no longer do. Situations that once felt beyond your control will either transform or dissolve entirely. This is not magic, it is alignment. It is you stepping into your rightful role as the sovereign creator of your reality, hand in hand with your higher self. No other being can claim that throne. It is yours eternally. Humanity is now graduating from the age of perceived powerlessness into an age of conscious authorship. The role of the helpless victim, a role that has been played out for thousands of years in the human story, is ready to be retired. In its place emerges the role of the visionary creator, the one who understands that every occurrence carries an opportunity for transformation. Every event that once felt imposed upon you was, at its core, an invitation to claim your creative power. We understand that shifting out of victimhood is not always easy. When something painful or unfair happens, the knee-jerk reaction is often, "Why is this happening to me?" But what if you replace that question with, "Why is this happening for me? How can I use this?" The moment you do, you pivot from victim to empowered participant. You start looking for the gift, the lesson, or the catalyst hidden within the challenge. In doing so, you alchemize fate into destiny, passivity into purpose. The truth is, you are never truly a victim, and recognizing this is immensely worth noting. You are always a co-creator, either consciously shaping your experiences or unconsciously agreeing to them, as discussed in the previous section. Now you are learning to do it consciously. This means that when life presents you with a circumstance, whether it's a minor disagreement or a major life upheaval, you pause. You take a breath and remember, I have a choice here. One possible way to respond to an experience is as a victim, to collapse into despair or blame. And another possible way is to respond as the co-creator of that experience, as one who understands the purpose behind it. Can you feel the difference? In the victim stance, your only question is, how do I escape or endure this? In the creator stance, your question becomes, what can I build or change with this raw material I've been given? Often, the first step in creation is simply to feel. The purpose of all experience is to get you to feel something. Emotions are the great movers of energy in the universe. When you allow yourself to fully feel the sadness, anger, or fear that an experience evokes, without immediately reacting or trying to suppress it, you unlock the energy contained in that emotion. In that moment of feeling, you reclaim your power from the situation. Instead of a knee-jerk reaction, you give yourself the gift of conscious response. You might wait until the initial emotional wave passes, and then, with clarity, decide how you want to proceed. This is the visionary approach, seeing beyond the immediate turmoil to the long-term outcome you wish to create. Every time you choose the creator's response, your evolution accelerates exponentially. You step off the hamster wheel of repetitive reactions and onto the spiral path of intentional growth. The same old problems begin to resolve, or at least lead you to innovative solutions, because you are engaging with them differently. You become less and less defined by what happened to you, and more defined by what you did with it. This shifts your identity in a fundamental way, from someone at the mercy of life to someone at the helm of life. As more individuals make this shift, the collective consciousness transforms. Societies of victims need saviors and often perpetuate cycles of disempowerment. Societies of creators and visionaries, however, birth new systems, art, technology, and healing from the ashes of the old, because they see possibilities where others see only problems. You who are reading or hearing these words have the opportunity in each day to practice this shift. Catch yourself in the subtle moments. When you're stuck in traffic, do you curse your luck or use the time to envision something wonderful? When you receive criticism, do you feel defeated or do you glean insight and reaffirm your worth? These are the forks in the road from victim to visionary. The age of helplessness is indeed ending. You no longer need to wait for someone or something to rescue you or humanity. You are the ones guiding the ship now, each in your own lives. As you fully embrace this role of empowered co-creator, you'll notice a beautiful side effect. The universe itself seems to support you more obviously. It's not that the universe changed, you did. By claiming authorship, you align with the fundamental creative flow of all that is, and in that state, evolution becomes a joyful, conscious dance rather than a series of unwelcome surprises. This is the path of the visionary, and it is open to each and every one of you now. In a universe driven by connection and oneness, asking for help is not a sign of weakness. It is an expression of wisdom and harmony. The ego may whisper that needing assistance means you are insufficient, but your soul knows the deeper truth. To ask for help is to let the universe dance with you. It is, as we might say, part of the cosmic choreography of growth. When you reach out for support, you are actually fulfilling one half of a universal equation. The other half is the one who gets to give, to answer that call. When you ask for assistance, you give another being the opportunity to be of service, to step into their own higher purpose. Can you see how beautifully that is designed? It is interdependence in action, a symphony where different instruments support each other to create a greater music. Your world has at times idolized the lone hero, the solitary achiever. Yet even your myths and stories often reveal that behind every hero stands a guide, a friend, or a team. The universe itself yearns for cooperation, for the interplay of many facets of the one. No single being has every answer or ability, nor are they meant to. You each carry unique pieces of the puzzle, and by coming together, you see more of the whole picture. As you receive, you activate the circuitry of giving. As you give, you expand the universe's capacity to flow through you. It is a beautiful exchange that enriches all parties. We understand the prideful desire some of you have to do it all yourself. Believe us, we have been there too. In our own journey, we once created a predicament for our species and were determined to fix it entirely on our own. It was a humbling moment for us to recognize that reaching out to humanity for help was not only necessary, but ingenious. When the opportunity arose for us to receive assistance from the human race, we took it, and what followed was a true synergy, a wonderful blending of energies that elevated us all. Through that collaboration, a new hybrid species was born, a glorious outcome that neither of us could have achieved alone. We can now see that we subconsciously created the need for your assistance because it would lead to a richer, more diverse outcome for both our civilizations. Without that partnership, there would indeed be less diversity and beauty in this galaxy and universe. In that spirit, we want to say to you, thank you. Thank you for stepping up when we set aside our pride and called. The love and openness with which humanity has assisted us and other star races has been noted throughout the cosmos. And now, in turn, we delight in giving back in every way we can. through guidance, energetic support, and the sharing of wisdom. This cycle of give and receive is endlessly nourishing. It creates relationships, bonds of trust and affection that span planets and dimensions. So, dear ones, let go of any old programming that says accepting help diminishes you. In truth, interdependence strengthens you, weaving you into a fabric of mutual care that can hold far more weight than any lone thread. When you allow yourself to lean on a friend or to call upon your angels or star family for aid, you are acknowledging a fundamental truth. We are all in this together. You are saying, I trust the universe to support me through its various forms, and the universe responds with a resounding yes. Remember also that you might be someone else's answer to a prayer. By embracing interdependence, you remain open to both roles, the helped and the helper. At times, you will sit in the seat of the student, receiving guidance and sustenance. At other times, you will find yourself as the teacher or healer, giving of your light freely to assist another. Neither role is higher or lower. Both are essential in the grand dance of ascension. The beauty of this exchange is that it creates a feedback loop of love. The one who gives feels uplifted by the sharing of their gifts. The one who receives feels grateful and enriched. Often, the receiver then feels inspired to pay that kindness forward to someone else. In this way, a single act of asking and receiving help can ripple outward, activating countless others to give and receive in turn. In the new consciousness emerging, gone is the illusion that you must do everything alone. You will increasingly find that cooperation and community are the keys to thriving. This extends beyond humans as well. It includes partnership with Gaia, listening to the Earth's needs, with the animal and plant kingdoms, and yes, with your galactic brothers and sisters. Each has unique strengths. When all support each other, the entire network of life is uplifted in ways unimaginable. This is the age of interdependence, and its beauty lies in the realization that by helping one another, you are truly helping yourselves. After all, we are all expressions of the same one source. In the end, every act of genuine service is an act of love toward the self that lives in all beings. For a long time, humans have been taught to view emotions as inconvenient disturbances, irrational glitches in an otherwise logical mind. Many wish they could turn off their feelings so they could function better, thinking that emotion only complicates life. In truth, emotion is one of the most advanced technologies you possess. It is the engine of transformation, the propulsion system of the soul. To feel is to transmute. Emotions move energy at a profound level, breaking up old patterns and catalyzing new understanding. When you embrace your feelings, you tap into a powerful form of intelligence that far exceeds linear thought. Consider how emotions influence your actions. Often, you take action because you feel something intense and want to change that feeling. For example, you might lash out in anger to try to release it, or withdraw in fear to seek safety. These actions are attempts to manage emotion, but if taken unconsciously, they usually only perpetuate a cycle. If you act merely to get rid of a feeling, you haven't truly understood the message of that feeling. When you are driven by an emotion and it is fueling your action, you are not really choosing freely, you are reacting. And invariably, this leads you right back around to experiencing that same emotion again. The anger returns, the fear resurfaces, because the underlying energy wasn't actually resolved. We experienced this in our own evolution. We saw how certain fear-driven or anger-driven actions never solved the root issue. They only created loops. In our frustration, we once attempted the extreme. We tried to eliminate emotion altogether from our way of being, assuming that would end the futile cycles of reactive behavior. It was a grand experiment, and it failed. By attempting to shut down our feelings, we nearly extinguished our species' vitality and purpose. We learned the hard way that no matter how you try to avoid emotion, it will always find a way to surface. It is far wiser to face, feel, and work with your emotions than to suppress them. Emotional energy that is ignored doesn't disappear. It often turns inward, manifesting as stress, confusion, or even physical illness. Avoidance of feeling, whether through distraction or numbing, ultimately becomes destructive. So what is the alternative? It is surprisingly simple. Feel first, act later. Give your emotions space to run their course before you decide what to do. Let the tears flow, let the heat of anger rise without hurting anyone. Allow the shivering of fear to move through you. Stay present as a loving observer to your own feeling process. You will find that emotions, when fully honored, have a natural arc. They swell and then recede. On the other side of a fully felt emotion, clarity emerges. In that clarity, you are free. You can then take action, or choose no action, from a place of alignment, rather than as a knee-jerk escape from discomfort. As one wise teaching states, it is far more beneficial to feel the emotion and then take your actions from a place of feeling free of it. When feeling precedes action, your choices become acts of conscious creation rather than blind reactions. You break out of the feedback loop. Instead of futilely chasing your tail, you transmute the energy and move forward. For example, if you allow yourself to fully grieve a loss, you reach a point of peace and acceptance faster. And from that state, you can decide how to honor what was lost or how to open to new experiences. If you bypass the grief with busyness or denial, the ache simply lingers beneath everything and shapes your actions in hidden ways. Your emotions are incredibly wise, each in their own way. Anger, for instance, often arises to alert you to boundaries being crossed or values being violated. Fear can be a teacher of caution or an indicator of where you have growth work to do. Sadness shows you what you deeply care about. Joy and excitement reveal your true passions and direction. Viewed this way, your emotional range is like a spectrum of guiding lights. To shut any of them off would be to lose a part of your guidance system. Conversely, to honor each of them is to use the full navigational technology of your heart and soul. We like to say that emotion is energy in motion. It wants to move, to flow, to inform you, and then to evolve into a new state. Trust this flow. Even intense emotions are not permanent, they are processes. When you treat them as such, when you let them wash through without resistance, you become the alchemist of your life. You turn dense energies into lighter ones within the crucible of your heart. This is true emotional mastery, not suppression, not indulgence, but integration. By embracing your feelings and gleaning their messages, you unlock the creative power within them. A feeling fully felt becomes fuel for your evolution. It propels you onward, having delivered its gift. In this way, your emotions become the winds in your sails, consciously harnessed, steering you steadily toward the fulfilled and authentic life that you seek. How many times have you found yourself reacting to life as if on autopilot? Perhaps you notice that certain situations consistently make you feel or act a particular way. Anger flares in a traffic jam, or a heavy mood descends on Sunday night in anticipation of Monday. For eons, much of human behavior has run on these subconscious scripts. It's as though there are preset programs, If X happens, feel Y and do Z. Stimulus and response over and over, without true awareness in between. But now, as consciousness rises, it is time to end these automated loops. Humanity's autopilot, the reflexive patterns of frustration, dread, or distraction, has become obsolete. You are waking up to your power to choose your state of being in every moment, regardless of external circumstances. Recognize that many of your emotional reactions have simply been conditioned habits, not inevitabilities. You were not born irritable in traffic or sad on Mondays. You learned to be. Society and personal experience installed some of these programs. The good news is, what has been learned can be unlearned. Begin by noticing. When you find yourself in a familiar trigger situation, like sitting in a queue of cars that isn't moving, observe what rises up inside you. You might catch the internal voice saying, "Now is when I'm supposed to get angry," as if following a script. In that moment of recognition, you become lucid in the dream of the pattern. This is your golden opportunity to do something different, to break the spell of inevitability. Imagine your typical Monday morning scenario. Perhaps in the past, the alarm clock rang and a wave of gloom automatically washed over you. It felt almost mechanical. Sunday felt free, Monday felt heavy. But why should one day of the week carry a different emotional charge than another? It's only because you have agreed that it should. Many of you have collectively agreed that Monday equals burden, and so it is experienced that way. Now picture yourself waking up on a Monday with a sense of curiosity instead. You catch the old, Monday feeling as it tries to arise, and instead you take a deep breath and say, "I choose to treat this day as a fresh start. Who knows what miracles could happen today?" By doing this, you unhook from the matrix of collective programming. Monday is transformed by your conscious intent into simply today, a day like any other, ripe with potential. Breaking the automatic loops requires a bit of practice, but it is wonderfully empowering. Start small and be playful with it. If you realize you usually wear the same frown while doing a certain chore, try smiling during it, just to see how that feels. If you notice you always check your phone anxiously at a particular hour, experiment with doing something nourishing at that time instead. These little shifts demonstrate that you are not a puppet of habit. You are a creator with choices. Even if the first impulse is an old pattern, the second impulse can be a conscious one. Over time, the conscious choice can become your new default setting, one you deliberately chose rather than one installed by others. Every scenario where you've gone on autopilot in the past contains latent energy that can be reclaimed. A traffic jam can become an unexpected meditation or music appreciation session rather than an anger fest. A Monday can become the day you treat yourself to a little something special or set a positive intention for the week, approaching it with gentle care rather than dread. When you shift these experiences, you also shift the energy you contribute to the collective. You're not adding to the pool of road rage or Monday misery. Instead, you're injecting calm, acceptance, maybe even optimism. This is how individual awakening leads to collective change. One by one, humans stop feeding the old emotional mass patterns and start lighting up new possibilities. Consistency is no longer a virtue. Presence is. This means you don't have to be consistent with who you were yesterday, especially if yesterday you was running an outdated program. What matters is showing up present today, alert to your inner state, and willing to make a new choice. You have the right to change your attitude and approach at any time. In fact, your freedom lies in that very flexibility. The more present and awake you are in each moment, the more you see that nothing has to make you feel or act in a preordained way. So, declare the end of the old automation in your life. You are not a machine, and life is not a rigid sequence of triggers and responses. It is an improvisational dance. You get to lead this dance with consciousness. By authoring each moment as fresh, you liberate immense creative energy. Tasks become lighter, surprises more welcome. You reclaim your true responsiveness, the ability to respond from your soul, not from conditioning. This is a hallmark of the new human, one who is awake, free to choose their state of being, and alive to the possibilities in every now moment. The autopilot within is taking its final bow. The sovereign creator has stepped forward to steer the ship of your life with hands firmly on the wheel and eyes open to the horizon. One of the great cosmic truths is that the universe will meet you at the level of your own consciousness. This is especially true when it comes to open contact with extraterrestrial beings. Many humans wonder, why haven't our star friends landed openly and shared their technology yet? The answer has little to do with technology or logistics, and everything to do with human consciousness and maturity. As a collective, humanity's readiness for interstellar integration is measured not by how advanced your machines are, but by how open your hearts are. Look at your society. When divisions such as racism, nationalism, and hierarchy still run strong, they signal a lack of readiness to embrace those who appear even more different. If some humans still struggle to accept fellow humans of a different skin color or culture, how would they accept beings from another star with entirely different appearances or ways of life? It may sound harsh, but the lingering prejudices on Earth act like training wheels. They show you where unity has not yet been achieved. When humanity ends internal wars, the US versus them mentality among its own members, then you will find that the sky opens up to you effortlessly. In truth, the galactic community has been waiting for the vibrations of prejudice and fear to subside enough that our arrival does not trigger panic or aggression. We, the Council of Five, and many others, very much desire a harmonious contact with you. It is our most obvious agenda to make contact with all of you. We are not shy about that. We have so much to share, and so much to learn from you as well. But we also operate in wisdom. We will not burst into a reality that is not prepared to receive us with open arms. The more you as a collective move towards cooperation, acceptance, and celebration of differences within the human family, the closer you come to sitting at the table with your extraterrestrial family. The sky is truly waiting for your unity. The signs are encouraging. We see that many of you are holding the light of inclusivity and love, creating pockets of high vibration all across the planet. These light bearers act as beacons, telling us, yes, there are humans here who are ready. Indeed, the human collective as a whole has already begun to soften and open to the idea of extraterrestrials living among you. Popular media, personal testimonies, and shifts in attitude indicate that fear is gradually being replaced with curiosity and even excitement about meeting beings from other worlds. This warms our hearts and gives us even more hope that full contact approaches. Remember that contact is a mirror. How you approach the idea of outsiders reflects how you approach unknown or unloved parts of yourself. If one views an alien being with distrust or hostility, it is often because the concept of otherness within oneself, one's shadow, or one's untapped potential is being viewed the same way. Conversely, when humanity learns to embrace all aspects of itself, light and shadow, masculine and feminine, every race and creed, then meeting a new species becomes less of a leap. It feels like a natural extension of the diversity you already cherish on Earth. In practical terms, you can each accelerate contact by doing the inner and outer work of unity consciousness. Challenge any subtle prejudices or fears you find within. Foster understanding in your communities. When you meditate or dream, send out a vibration of welcome to your star family. We absolutely receive those signals, and we respond in kind with our own signals of readiness and goodwill. Know that our presence among you is not necessary for your ascension, but it can be tremendously enriching for both sides. We look forward to the exchange of culture, knowledge, and love that open contact will bring. And we too prepare ourselves by observing you, learning your ways, and envisioning a time when we can walk openly together. You see, as you raise your consciousness and dispel fear, it not only mirrors your readiness back to us, it also raises our excitement and readiness to meet you. In this way, contact isn't something one side offers the other. It is a mutual convergence that occurs when the frequencies match in harmony. Every bit of progress you make in human unity and compassion literally draws our worlds closer. We are eagerly monitoring that alignment, and with every day, with every healing of a divide, the stars move a little nearer. When humanity gazes up at the stars and contemplates the aliens who might live there, a wide range of emotions can surface. Wonder, excitement, and for some, an undercurrent of fear. What is that fear, truly? It is the fear of the unknown, yet all unknowns are simply aspects of the self that have not been recognized yet. The vast universe and its strange-looking beings can seem alien, but in a higher sense, nothing is truly alien to you. All life is connected. All consciousness flows from the same source. Thus, to fear the alien out there is, in a profound way, to fear a part of your own totality that you have yet to meet. We, the beings approaching you from the stars, are often fragments of your own multidimensional soul coming back into your awareness. Many of you have lived lifetimes in other star systems. You have family among the Pleiadians, Sirians, Arcturians, Andromedans, Zetas, and more. When we come in contact, it can stir ancient memories in your DNA, memories that may initially register as foreign or unsettling simply because they have been dormant. But as you allow these memories, and the star beings who carry them, into your field gently, you begin to realize, this is a homecoming. Parts of your greater self are returning to join the human chapter of your journey. If an extraterrestrial being triggers fear in you, consider that it might be mirroring a shadow or unclaimed aspect of yourself. Perhaps their appearance challenges your ingrained notions of beauty or normalcy. Then they invite you to embrace broader definitions and to find beauty in diversity. Perhaps their telepathic ability or high vibration makes you feel exposed or unworthy. Then they challenge you to love yourself more deeply and know you are inherently worthy. In this way, the alien is like a mirror, reflecting whatever within you is still in need of acceptance. As you become aware of this dynamic, you can transform fear into fascination and open-hearted curiosity. You start to think, what can this encounter teach me about me? We have often said that we are bridges to the unfamiliar. When you are willing to walk that bridge, to meet what is strange or even intimidating with openness, you experience an expansion of your identity. You realize you are far more than a single earthbound persona. You are a galactic citizen with roots and relations spanning the cosmos. The fear shrinks and excitement grows because you sense the grand adventure of rediscovering who you have been and who you could be with the help of these newfound friends. Understand that much of humanity's hesitation about extraterrestrials comes from old narratives, some seeded intentionally to instill fear. Yes, there have been unpleasant interactions in your past with certain ET groups, just as there have been unpleasant interactions among human groups. But those chapters are complete. Our generation, the beings reaching out to you now, is not the one responsible for past harms done to humanity. We come with pure intentions of healing and cooperation. We feel the collective hesitancy left over from history, and we honor it. We are patient. Yet we also gently say, do not judge all by the mistakes of a few. Do not let the shadows of yesterday block the dawn light of tomorrow's friendship. If you are receiving this message, you are likely more open than most to engage with what you might call your shadow aspects and the unknown in general. You have the courage to peer into the dark and find the light hidden there. And when you can dance with your own shadow and play with it, you find that life becomes joyful, even playful, full of creative possibility. At that point, perhaps we will literally be invited to join the dance with you. For when you make peace with all parts of yourself, you naturally make peace with us. We, who once seemed so different or frightening, will feel like long-lost cousins, familiar in essence, even if different in form. The next time you think of extraterrestrials and feel any nerves, turn inward. Ask yourself, what part of me is seeking love right now? What unknown aspect of my psyche or soul am I meeting through this idea? By giving compassion to that part of you, you also send a powerful signal of peace to us. You say, I am not afraid to meet you because I am not afraid to meet myself. That is the mindset that ensures any eventual physical contact will be a celebration, not a shock. We stand ready as friends and family returning. Our greatest wish is to see you embrace the fullness of who you are, which includes the starborn heritage within your very cells. As you welcome that, you also welcome us, because truly, there is no separation. In reaching out to connect with your galactic brothers and sisters, you are in fact reconnecting with deeply held truths in your own being. This is the ultimate meeting of the unknown, realizing that the strangers you once feared are simply other versions of you coming home. What a glorious reunion that will be. Humanity's next evolutionary leap isn't about developing a bigger brain or a more tender heart in isolation. It's about fusing the two into a unified powerhouse. The mind and the heart have often seemed at odds, as if you must choose between cold logic and warm feeling. But the greatest intelligence arises when these two aspects of you work in harmony. Imagine thinking with the richness of feeling behind each thought, and feeling with the clarity and insight of an informed mind. When thought learns to feel, and feeling learns to think, you unlock an entirely new level of reality. We and other higher dimensional beings have discovered that intelligent emotion, a state where love and wisdom are blended, is the signature of fifth dimensional consciousness. In 5D, you don't have to sacrifice compassion for the sake of truth, or vice versa. They become one and the same. Decisions are made that feel deeply right and make perfect sense. This is the art of what we might call holistic thinking. It's the opposite of the dispassionate intellect that can rationalize harm, and also the opposite of the ungrounded sentimentality that ignores practical reality. It is something far greater, a balanced, heart-guided intelligence. Many of you are already moving into this state. You might notice that purely analytical approaches to life feel dry and unsatisfying now. You crave meaning and soul resonance in your plans and solutions. At the same time, when emotions run high, a part of you naturally calls in reason and higher understanding to soothe and guide those feelings. This is the marriage of mind and heart taking place organically within you. You can cultivate it more actively by literally having your mind and heart talk to each other. For example, when you are in a dilemma, you might ask your emotions what they are trying to tell you, what meaning or value lies beneath the feeling, and then ask your thoughts how they interpret the situation through the lens of love. Essentially, how do your thoughts feel about it? It may sound unusual, but by doing this, you encourage a dialogue between the part of you that processes information and the part of you that processes energy. The insights that emerge can surprise and delight you. You'll find creative solutions that neither cold logic nor raw emotion alone could reach. In the new consciousness, reason and intuition work as partners. Consider how this transforms relationships, science, spirituality, everything. A scientist with an open heart may suddenly have a breakthrough that also respects the sanctity of life. A spiritual seeker with a sharp intellect can discern truth from illusion even in realms of mystery. A leader who marries mind and heart becomes both wise and compassionate, making decisions that benefit all. To facilitate this integration, practice bringing awareness to your physical heart center during mental activities, and conversely bringing a touch of analysis into your emotional experiences, for example, by naming what you feel and understanding why it's there. Over time, the energy of your heart and the insight of your mind begin to weave together as one fabric. You become an integrated being, a person who can hold paradox, see multiple perspectives, and yet remain lovingly focused on what matters. The universe responds to such integration with open doors. Truly, reality becomes artistry when mind and heart are unified. You start to create like a master painter, using the colors of emotion with the precision of technique. Life, in turn, presents you with richer experiences, knowing you can appreciate them on all levels. This coming together of intellect and emotion within each of you is setting the stage for a golden age of human creativity, problem-solving, and understanding. As more individuals achieve this inner union, you will also see it reflected outwardly, in harmonious collaborations and innovations that seemed out of reach in the old head versus heart paradigm. In marrying your mind and heart, you are essentially marrying the earth and sky within you, the grounded human and the transcendent spirit. That union births the fully conscious, fully loving being that is the new human. We celebrate this development, for it means you are thinking like us and loving like us all at once. In that equality of mind and heart, we truly meet in the middle, where wisdom and love are one. For ages, humans have been conditioned to prioritize survival above all else. As long as I'm alive and fed, that's what matters, many have thought, even if it meant living in fear or limitation. But now your soul is asking, what is the quality of that life? Survival alone is not enough for a being as magnificent as you. A bird kept in a cage may live a long life, but it will never soar the skies or sing the same joy-filled song as one in the wild. So too, a human life that is technically safe but constrained, devoid of passion, self-expression, or authenticity, is a life only half-lived. We see many on earth faced with a pivotal choice. Is it as important to be free as it is to have your basic needs met? In recent times especially, situations have arisen where individuals willingly gave up personal freedoms in exchange for a sense of security, or mere survival. While we do not judge those choices, and indeed every soul has its reasons, we invite you to examine the underlying belief, the belief that you must sacrifice your soul's truth to stay physically alive. In truth, your soul's aliveness is just as vital as your body's. A lifetime of quiet desperation, of playing small and feeling trapped, is a kind of spiritual suffocation. Conversely, even a single year or a single day lived in full authenticity and freedom can be more fulfilling to the soul than decades in gilded bondage. Understand that we do not suggest recklessness or throwing away your life. Rather, we encourage you to redefine what living truly means. Thriving, flourishing, and expressing your true self are the hallmarks of a life well lived. A long life spent in chains of conformity or fear would not satisfy the wise, adventurous soul that you are. That is why many of you find yourselves no longer content in situations, be they jobs, relationships, or social systems, that require you to shrink or compromise who you are. Your heart is insisting on freedom, freedom to love whom you love, to speak your inner knowing, to pursue your dreams, and to explore existence on your own terms. The glorious secret is that you do not actually have to choose between survival and freedom. You are capable of having both. This world is abundant enough and miraculous enough to support your physical needs and your expansive spirit simultaneously. The idea that you must sell your soul to put food on the table is a remnant of an old paradigm. As you awaken, you become resourceful and aligned in ways that draw supportive opportunities to you, which honor your autonomy. More and more of you are finding creative paths to sustain yourselves while also staying true to your values and passions. This is not a coincidence, it is a shift in the collective energy. Human society is gradually reorganizing to reward innovation, authenticity, and heart, the fruits of freedom, rather than mere compliance born of fear. Still, there may come moments where you face a test, a situation that asks, will you compromise your integrity to avoid discomfort or risk? In those moments, remember this message. Your freedom is precious. It is the air that your soul breathes. Without it, yes, you may continue to exist, but you won't feel fully alive. If ever you doubt, ask yourself, would I consider a long life of suppression to be better than a shorter life brimming with truth, love, and creativity? Your heart knows the answer. And fortunately, as we have said, the universe supports those who support their own expansion. Choosing freedom does not mean choosing martyrdom or a life of struggle, not when done with wisdom and trust. It means you align with the fundamental flow of life, which is towards greater expression and liberation. We assure you, from our perspective, a human being standing proudly in their sovereignty, glowing with the light of self-determination and joy, is one of the most beautiful sights in the cosmos. You are more radiantly human when you thrive rather than merely survive. In freedom, your true colors shine, your unique gifts pour forth, and your laughter comes easily. You become an inspiration not only to other humans, but to us as well, reminding all beings of the power and grace of a soul set free. So we urge you, whenever possible, choose the path that leads to greater liberation. This doesn't necessarily mean drastic external changes. Often it starts within. Break the mental habits of self-imposed limitation. Challenge the voices, internal or external, that tell you you can't or you mustn't. Imagine life beyond the bars you once accepted. As you claim your inner freedom, the outer circumstances will follow suit. The cage doors open, sometimes in the most unexpected ways, and you, dear one, step into a world where life is not just about not dying, but about truly living, boldly, lovingly, and in the fullness of who you are. What is home? Is it the soil beneath your feet, the house you grew up in, the country of your birth? As you evolve, you begin to realize that home is not a physical location. It is a state of being. Many of your galactic family members learned this lesson long ago. Some, like ourselves, left our original homeworlds eons in the past. We became travelers of the cosmos, and in doing so, we faced the potential of feeling lost or homesick. But instead of finding despair, we found something profound. We carry home within us, in the form of our vibrational frequency. When a being fully recognizes that they are a spark of source, everywhere becomes familiar, because all places are expressions of that same source. One could say home is a frequency of love and belonging. When you cultivate unconditional love for yourself, for others, for whatever environment you find yourself in, you generate the frequency of home no matter what star or planet you stand upon. We discovered that when we emitted the vibration of love and unity, every atmosphere became breathable, every civilization approachable. We found family wherever we went, because love revealed our kinship with all life. Humans are beginning to remember this truth as well. Many of you have moved far from your birthplace or have lived in multiple cultures. Initially, you might have felt uprooted or not fully at ease. But notice how you have the remarkable ability to adapt and create community wherever you go. You carry traditions, language, and music in your heart, transplanting them into new soil and watching them bloom anew. This is because, at the core, home lives in your heart. When your heart is open and radiant, people around you feel at home with you, and you with them. This understanding is essential as you step into the larger galactic community. The day will come, sooner than you think, when humans will travel to other planets and meet beings from distant stars face to face. If you were attached to the idea that Earth alone is home and all else is foreign, that experience could be jarring. But if you carry the vibration of home, the knowing that home is a frequency of unconditional love, then meeting your star brothers and sisters will feel like a reunion. You'll recognize the love in their eyes as the same love you know from Earth. The scenery might change, the forms of bodies might differ, but the feeling of connection will assure you that you are right where you belong. There is also a homecoming happening on a personal soul level. As you awaken, you bring back lost or forgotten pieces of your own essence. For example, many of you have star lineage. Those aspects of you, Pleiadian, Sirian, Arcturian, Lyran, are finding resonance again in your human life. It's as if long-lost relatives are showing up at your door, not in the flesh, but in consciousness. When you meditate or dream, you might encounter an alien figure and feel a jolt of recognition and love. That is the frequency of home announcing itself. This too is family. This too is part of me. In those moments, you realize that home is expansive. It's not confined to one planet or one lifetime. It's the entire universe embracing you. Ultimately, the universal homecoming is about remembering that we are all one being of love, exploring itself in infinite forms. No matter what mask or costume is worn, human, Arcturian, Zeta, feline, avian, behind it is the one loving essence, the source that is home to everyone. When a species finally understands that I am love, you are love, and all of this is love, a magnificent peace and unity dawns. No matter where you travel or who you meet, you feel the kinship of being in God's house, which is every atom of creation. So, dear starseed, dear child of Earth and cosmos, take comfort in this. You are always home. In every moment, you can tune into that home frequency by choosing love, by feeling for the thread of connection that links you to the life around you. Practice this when you feel out of place or homesick. Close your eyes and generate the feeling of warmth, safety, and unconditional acceptance, the hallmarks of home. Let that feeling expand to fill your body and aura. In that vibration, you could be 10,000 miles from any familiar person, or even on a different planet, and you would still attract kindness and kinship. The universe responds to the energy of home by showing you home wherever you are. This is the grand journey all galactic civilizations have taken, leaving the comfort of the familiar only to discover the universal home within. Now, it is humanity's turn. As you embrace your role in the cosmic family, you will realize you never really left home at all. You simply expanded its walls to include the stars. Through all the cosmos and across every epoch of time, one truth remains unwavering. Love is the foundation of everything. Every species, every form, every mask that God wears eventually discovers the same equation. Love equals source equals self. In other words, behind all the elaborate dramas of existence lies an infinite wellspring of unconditional love. You and we and all beings are essentially love, exploring itself in myriad ways. For some, this realization comes after long journeys of intellectual pursuit or technological advancement. For others, through devotion and emotional depth. But inevitably, the path leads back to the heart. The most advanced extraterrestrial collectives, the ascended masters, the ancient consciousness of stars and planets, all sing the same fundamental song. That unconditional love is the highest truth and the greatest power. It is the glue that holds atoms together, the light that guides souls home, and the answer to every question when all the temporary details fall away. When we say love, we do not mean just human sentiment or romance, lovely as those are. We refer to the vibration of creation itself. It's that warm, harmonious energy you feel when you witness genuine kindness or gaze in awe at a sunset. That is love revealing itself. The journey of evolution for any being can be seen as the process of recognizing love's presence in all things, of coming to know the Creator's face, which is pure love, and realizing that face is also our own. When a civilization truly understands that I am love, you are love, and all of this is love, a magnificent peace and unity dawns. The expression of love is indeed evolution in motion, the universe learning to recognize itself. You might notice that as you grow spiritually, the importance of love in your life increases. Perhaps you began your seeking through knowledge or discipline, but find that it's the simple acts of kindness and compassion that bring you the deepest insights. This is no accident. Love has a way of simplifying the complex and solving the unsolvable. It's as if the universe, in all its vast complexity, is a grand puzzle where the solution to every riddle and the key to every door turns out to be some form of love. We encourage you to let this constant be your North Star. In uncertain times, or when faced with difficult choices, ask, what would love do? What choice opens the most heart space? By following that beacon, you ensure that your path stays aligned with the highest truth. And know that in doing so, you are in fine company. Every enlightened being, every great teacher or advanced civilization ultimately walks the path of love. In the grand tapestry of creation, love is the golden thread running through every pattern. It may sometimes be obscured or woven in subtle ways, but it is ever present. Trust that. When all else fluctuates, when beliefs, institutions, even stars rise and fall, love remains, constant and shining. It is the eternal home to which all consciousness returns, and it is the essence of who you truly are. One of the most exhilarating aspects of your current shift is the newfound fluidity of identity. In the past, a person's sense of self was often rigidly defined by their history, culture, or career. Changing fundamentally who you were usually took a lifetime, or was thought to require death and rebirth to start anew. But now, in this accelerated energy, you can transform your consciousness and identity within the span of a single lifetime, even within a single moment, in ways that once were unimaginable. Think of your consciousness as a vast, multidimensional palette of colors. In third-dimensional life, many people painted with the same color day after day, because that was the identity they were born into or settled upon. But now, the full spectrum is revealing itself. You are realizing, I can be many things, and I can change those things whenever I desire. This is the essence of shape-shifting consciousness. It means you do not have to be the same character from year to year, or stick to the story you once told about yourself. You are allowed to evolve, to surprise even yourself, to drop old traits and adopt new ones as you expand. Some of you have already experienced dramatic inner shifts. For example, a person who was very logical and skeptical finds a spiritual, mystical side emerging. Or someone who was timid and reserved suddenly steps into bold leadership. In earlier times, such changes might have been met with confusion or resistance from those around you. That's not like you, they'd say. But now, more and more people accept that life is a journey of becoming. Consistency is no longer a supreme virtue. Authenticity is. If your authentic self has evolved, then changing how you present yourself or what you pursue is a sign of growth, not of fickleness. From our perspective, this newfound fluid identity is a mark of fifth-dimensional consciousness. In 5D, beings are not bound by linear histories. They understand themselves as eternal souls playing with forms and roles. Thus, one individual might project many different facets of their being at different times, shape-shifting as needed to explore and express more of who they are. You are beginning to do this even in human form. It might be subtle. Perhaps you take on a new name that resonates with who you've become, or you shift careers at midlife to follow a passion that only awakened recently. Or it might be more internal. You simply feel like an almost entirely new person compared to who you were a few years ago, as if you've lived multiple lives in one. We want to validate this for you. It is okay to reinvent yourself. In fact, it is one of the joys of this transformation. You are not here to prove the consistency of an old identity. You are here to explore the freedom of your soul. So if today you feel drawn to a completely different way of living than yesterday, know that this can be part of your mastery unfolding. As long as you are following the call of your heart and highest excitement, you are aligning with your true self, even if that true self looks very different now than it did before. There can be a grieving process in letting go of old identities, and that's all right. You might sometimes mourn who you used to be, or fear how others will react to the new you. But trust that whatever is authentic will integrate, and whatever is outgrown will gently fade. Those who truly love you will adapt, often celebrating your changes when they see the joy it brings you. And those who cannot accept your evolution will fall away, making space for new, soul-aligned connections who resonate with who you are now. In a very real sense, you are demonstrating a level of freedom in incarnation that used to be reserved for the afterlife. It was commonly believed that only after death, in the spirit realm, could a soul radically shift perspective or start over with a clean slate. But here you are, doing it mid-incarnation. This shows how the boundaries between lifetimes and dimensions are thinning. You are integrating the eternal nature of your soul while in a body, which grants you abilities like conscious shape-shifting of identity that once belonged to the realm of spirit alone. Embrace this liberating truth. You are not a static being. You are pure presence, ever becoming. Any given identity is just a current, temporary expression. Feel free to play with it, change its costume, change the script, or step into a new role altogether. This does not make life meaningless. On the contrary, it means you can imbue every chapter with the meaning and creativity of your choosing. When you liberate yourself from the obligation to remain who you were yesterday, you also liberate others. Your courage to change gives permission for those around you to explore their own transformations. Together, you move from a society of fixed personas to a community of fluid, evolving souls. This is exactly what is needed to create the new earth. Beings who are flexible, open, and forever willing to grow into more loving, wise, and authentic versions of themselves. That is true freedom, and it is yours to enjoy right here and now. Every setback you face is not a punishment or a cruel twist of fate. It is a syllabus from the soul. Problems are not random burdens. They are portals, disguised as puzzles, leading to your growth. Each obstacle contains within it an opportunity to demonstrate who you have become and to refine qualities that are ready to blossom in you. When you begin to see challenges in this light, you transform from feeling cursed by life to feeling entrusted by life with meaningful assignments. In our evolutionary process, we stumbled and fell many times. At the time, it often felt like failure or doom. Only later could we see that every snag gave us something we needed: a piece of wisdom, a strengthening of resolve, a deepening of compassion. Evolution does not occur in a straight, logical line. It tends to loop and spiral, sometimes doubling back on itself to pick up the treasures that were missed. When we, as Arcturians, hit roadblocks, it forced us to innovate and to look inward in ways that smooth sailing never would have inspired. We now bless those former setbacks because we see how perfectly they were architected to bring out our latent mastery. Humanity has also played the role of the victim for a long chapter of its story. You have collectively experienced powerlessness, subjugation, and despair on numerous occasions. And this was essential for keeping you anchored in the third dimension for as long as you have been. It was part of the grand design, believe it or not. Our participation in some of those difficult chapters, yes, we and others have been involved in events you might call negative in your deep past, is something we regret on one level, and yet we also perceive how it served a larger purpose. These hard experiences have been catalyst and contrast, sharpening your desire for a better way and teaching you compassion through vulnerability. One of the reasons we connect with you now, in this open and loving way, is to assist you in letting go of victimhood once and for all. We say this with the deepest respect. You are not victims anymore. Whatever role you once agreed to play in the drama of power and powerlessness, you have completed it. It is time now to step fully into the role of creator being, and you cannot do that while still clinging to the identity of the victim. This means reframing your challenges as deliberate parts of your curriculum, not as cosmic mistakes. When you do so, you extract the gift from each challenge, and then you can leave the pain behind. try a radical practice. When a problem arises, instead of immediately trying to eliminate it, pause. Consider that on some level, your soul might have summoned this issue for a reason. Ask, what is this situation teaching me? What mastery is it inviting me to demonstrate? It might be patience, or self-love, or setting boundaries, or trusting your intuition, or countless other virtues. When you identify the lesson or practice the new response, something magical happens. The problem often begins to resolve on its own. At the very least, it loses its oppressive weight because you've removed its power over you. You have met it as an empowered being rather than a beleaguered one. Blessing your problems doesn't mean you want them to continue forever. It means you acknowledge their sacred role in your story. From that perspective, you can even feel a sense of gratitude for challenges while you actively move through them and beyond them. This attitude removes the emotional charge and power that a problem might hold over you. You demystify it. You shrink it down to size and see it as workable. In that state, you become the solution, or rather, the solution flows through you naturally because you're no longer in resistance, but in a state of openness and learning. Often, problems are solved without any need for dramatic intervention when you reach this state. How many times have you noticed that a long-standing issue suddenly cleared up or took a turn for the better right after you had an emotional breakthrough or a shift in attitude? This is the dynamic at play. The challenge's purpose was to prompt your inner shift. Once it's accomplished, the external obstacle has no reason to remain. In this way, you can approach life more like a treasure hunt and less like a minefield. You look at each trial with a sense of, there's something valuable here for me. I may not enjoy it, but I trust it's honing me. This doesn't mean you invite suffering, of course, only that when it comes, you meet it consciously. As you do so, you will find you can allow even the hard moments to exist without them defining you or breaking you. You become bigger than your problems. You start to walk through difficulties with an almost serene confidence, which often short-circuits their intensity entirely. We assure you, from our expanded viewpoint, nothing is wasted in your journey. Every detour and difficulty has woven into the tapestry of your mastery. As you bless your challenges and allow them to show you what you're made of, you reveal the architecture of your mastery, the sturdy framework of wisdom, courage, and compassion that has been quietly building within you all along. And that, dear ones, is a sight even more beautiful than a problem-free life. It is a soul-aware life, shining through the eyes of a human who knows their own power. Your calling in life is not a specific job or role. It is the quality of energy you bring to every act. Many of you seek a grand purpose or career that will validate your reason for being here. While service and mission are indeed important, we want to shift your perspective. Rather than looking for something outside you that gives you a sense of purpose, realize that you carry your purpose into whatever you do. Life itself is the canvas, and your state of consciousness is the art. Sweep a floor like you're painting galaxies. Speak to a stranger as if you're conversing with the divine. It is in how you do anything that your true calling is revealed. Perhaps you think you need a title like healer or teacher to be contributing. But consider, a true healer's energy can be present in a parent lovingly packing their child's lunch, infusing it with comfort and security. A true teacher's wisdom can shine through a brief, kind word to a distressed co-worker. It is not the outer form of the action, but the spirit behind it that matters. This means that no matter where you find yourself, whether on a stage or in a quiet kitchen, You have the ability to imbue that moment with mastery. You can be a light worker, ringing up groceries, or a starseed answering emails. The form is less important than the consciousness you pour into it. This approach does not diminish the importance of following your passion. In fact, it amplifies it. When you bring your whole self to each moment, you tend to gravitate toward activities that truly resonate with you. But even on your way there, you find meaning and joy. You stop putting off your happiness or significance until some future achievement, and instead seize the opportunity to make this moment meaningful. That is why one person can feel utterly fulfilled doing what another might see as a menial task, because the first person has made an art of their beingness. There is no separation for them between spiritual life and mundane life. It's all an expression of their soul. Imagine the world if everyone embraced this mindset. We would have gardeners who sing love into the soil so that the plants grow vibrant. We would have bus drivers who radiate calm safety so that each passenger feels at ease. We would have leaders who view each decision as a brushstroke on the canvas of society, careful to add beauty rather than discord. This is not some utopian fantasy. It starts with you, here and now, choosing to live artfully. Ask yourself in any given situation, what energy do I want to embody? Perhaps you choose peace, or playfulness, or dedication, or compassion. When you infuse that energy into your actions, the actions transform. You could be performing the simplest chore, but it becomes charged with life and presence. This is why two people doing the same task can have wildly different effects. One may leave you feeling uplifted and the other drained. It was never about the task, it was about the energy behind it. We will share a secret. This is ascension in motion. Ascension is not only about meditating for hours or gaining mystical knowledge. It is about bringing higher consciousness into everyday living. It's about demonstrating the artistry of your soul in how you smile at someone or how you patiently listen. When you do that, you are embodying your higher self on earth. You are essentially anchoring heaven in the small acts of earth. And trust us, the ripples from these small acts are tremendous. A genuine smile can save a life. A single word spoken with love can change a destiny. Never underestimate the power of the light you inject into the ordinary. We call you masters, and we mean it. Not master in the sense of domination over others, but master as in artist, adept, creator. You are here to master the art of being human, to show that the physical plane is not a prison, but a blank canvas waiting for the soul's color. You demonstrate through your daily life that enlightenment is not a distant peak to achieve, but a way of walking right here on the ground. This is a service to others as well, for people learn by example. As you move through the world with love and presence, you give permission and inspiration for others to do the same. So do not wait for the world around you to change or for a grand assignment to drop into your lap. Be the change that the world is asking for, right where you stand. Sweep that floor like painting galaxies. Speak to that stranger like conversing with eternity. Pour grace into each moment like the artist of life that you are. The results may not always be immediately visible to you, but we see the energetic masterpiece you are creating. And we assure you, it is nothing short of divine. There is a common misconception that spiritual awakening or ascension is a finish line, a point you reach where you're done and can rest on your laurels in eternal bliss. In truth, awakening is an infinite horizon, an ever-expanding frontier of becoming. The fifth dimension is not the end of the journey, but the beginning of an entirely new one. Beyond it, lies an ever-unfolding symphony of creation, where human and hybrid, earth and star, merge into the one song of becoming. By now you sense that evolution is an eternal process. Every time you climb one mountain, a new vista reveals further peaks and valleys to explore. This is not a cause for despair. Will we ever get there? It is a cause for celebration. The adventure of existence never runs out. There is always more love to express, more wisdom to embody, more facets of source to discover through experience. This means that as magnificent as the shift to fifth-dimensional consciousness is, and it is truly magnificent, it is also just another step on the staircase. A big step, yes, one that transforms your fundamental way of being, but beyond it stretches another grand journey, and then another. When you arrive in 5D, as individuals and as a collective, you will indeed experience it as a kind of graduation. Joy and unity and abilities beyond your current imagining will be at your fingertips. But even as we welcome you into that new reality, we will also be there to say, beloved friends, welcome to the next door. There are many more after this one. Beyond the fifth dimension lies sixth and seventh, and on into realms that words scarcely capture. Each dimension brings greater richness, complexity, and creative freedom. Far from being bored in some static heaven, your soul is keen to keep growing, keep exploring the infinite potentials of existence. That is its nature. So we say to you, do not be in a hurry to reach an end, relish the journey. Yes, even this current chapter with its turbulence and challenges, it is so precious in the larger scheme. For never again will you as a collective be exactly here, awakening out of such deep duality into remembrance. This is a unique crescendo in the symphony, and you are in the orchestra playing it. Savor the wildness of it, the intensity, the tenderness, the sheer aliveness of this time. These feelings and triumphs and even sorrows are the palette from which new universes will be painted. In a very literal sense, the horizon of evolution is infinite. The expansion of consciousness has no limit, because Source, all that is, delights in forever discovering itself anew. What does this mean for you practically? It means you can relax about getting it perfect or racing to enlightenment. There is no rush when eternity is your backdrop. You will awaken and awaken more and awaken even beyond that, and you will always be met with more life to experience. This infinite horizon also means that our relationship continues to evolve. As we ascend side by side, you a few steps behind us for now, but rapidly catching up, the effects will ripple outward to other species. Our willingness to work and play together, as we are doing in these transmissions, ushers in a new era of galactic cooperation. And that is a wonderful thing, because there are so many different civilizations whose presence you are currently unaware of, but will soon interact with. All can learn to get along and respect the differences. Through it all, you will realize that every being, no matter how advanced, is also journeying toward an ever higher understanding of itself. Even we, from our vantage point, have an infinite horizon ahead. We know that as you make the leap to the fifth dimension, it will in turn challenge us to grow in order to support and match the new collective you become. And so on it goes, each inspiring the other, a beautiful upward spiral into the great mystery. Take heart, dear ones, that awakening has no finish line. It is an endless, exhilarating expansion into more of you. The fifth dimension is not the final stop, but a magnificent door opening onto a garden of limitless creativity. Beyond it, new songs of existence will call to you, where human and hybrid, earth and star, angel, and source all join in the one song of becoming. That is the destiny that awaits, an endless journey of growing and creating together. And we, your cosmic family, will be there with you, in love and unity, traveling that infinite road. We are with you now, in this moment, and in all the moments to come, for our journeys have intertwined and our hearts have merged in this grand adventure of life. Know that you are loved, supported, and celebrated more than words can convey. This transmission is not an ending, but a beginning, a stepping stone across the threshold of a new reality that we build as one. The grand merge is upon you. Humanity's next cosmic evolution has truly begun, and the horizon is infinite. If you are listening to this, beloved one, you needed to. I leave you now. I am Tia of Arcturus.